Hello, it's Scott Manley here, and I've been spending some time on Eve's development servers, where some new things from the Christmas release have been revealed. So we're starting out here, we're going to go through the new ships that have been added. There are 5 new ships, the first of which is a new destroyer for the Caldari. It is a missile destroyer that gets bonuses to light rockets, or light missiles and rockets, specifically to explosion velocity and kinetic damage. As you can see, it looks like a cross between a submarine and battleship or something. Not really sure, but regardless, let's just try out these missiles. We set this up with rockets here, and you see that it looks pretty good when fighting against a defensive drone. But yeah, let's take it into one of the actual combat areas and see how I fare. I'm just going to show you these things working in combat. I did not optimize these fits in any way, so this is my first guess at a decent fit for this kind of ship. This is set up basically to do a decent amount of damage at close range with rockets. I stupidly decided to use all the different missile types because I thought the missile trails might look different, but not obvious by any means. But never mind, let's attack this carrier with this tiny destroyer. That carrier is about 1 kilometer long. I'm probably 1/10 of that. And as you can see, I'm barely scratching his armor. Nothing going on here. Oh wait, of course I'm not scratching his armor because I'm attacking this broadsword instead. I notice I now have 3 ships with points on me, 4 of them attacking me, and you can see how quickly I melt under their fire. Unfortunately, on the test server at this time, the new explosions were not there, so the spacecraft didn't die in a particularly spectacular fashion. Anyway, this is the second of the new spacecraft. This is the Amerian Dragoon. This is a drone ship, which is interesting, and it's one of the first Tech 1 ships to get a bonus to energy neutralizers, which makes it kind of interesting. The description says, nice capacitor, can I have it, om nom nom, or whatever. Anyway, I was really stupid with this, and I just decided to put an oversized, cruiser-sized micro warp drive on this thing to see how fast it could fly around. And yeah, it'll top out around 4 and a bit kilometers per second. And yeah, that worked pretty well at keeping him out of range of most spacecraft until this guy in a Daredevil turned up and my cap was low. Now, a Daredevil is a combination of an Angel and a Serpentis ship. It's basically a very, very fast pirate frigate, which hits for a lot of damage at close range. And as you can see, my drones are unable to chase him. They're barely touching him, I guess. And because I've put all my energy and fittings into putting that giant micro warp drive on, I melt very quickly. And again, it dies. So finally we get to the Gallente destroyer. This is the Algos, a ship which, as you can see, it literally has balls. At the back there, we've got a bunch of ball or spherical things. It has 6 of them. No idea what they do. Also, you can see on this the drone base, which is kind of neat. It might be pointing to the direction where things are going, where you will actually have visible drone bays on drone ships. That looks pretty good. So it's a drone ship. It gets bonuses also to hybrid weapons. This one I fitted out with a micro warp drive, and I actually put a point and a stasis web on it, so it would actually be able to hold down something if it got into combat. And so we picked out Malcolm Jeeves in one of those fancy new Caldari destroyers. So I'm trying to keep a bit of range on him, although I'm only using 75mm guns because I'm loading them with spike ammunition, which is a Tech 2 ammunition. I was able to actually hit him at quite good ranges, and he's obviously trying to close range on me. And once he gets in closer, I start scrambling his warp drive, or disrupting his warp drive. And when he gets in closer still, I start to use the stasis webifier on him to slow him down and basically make sure my drones can get close to him. You can see that he's attacking my drones, but I'm able to carry like 12 off them, so I just keep launching replacements. This is the test server. The drones only cost me 100 ISK. They're a little more expensive on the real server, but in PvP, you throw everything you've got there. I kind of messed up during this. I never used overloading to get extra juice out of my devices. So I don't think I used any of these anywhere near their potential. I just wanted to take them out and, have these do something. So here's this same guy in the Daredevil pilot that killed us earlier, but now he's in a frigate and I have a bunch of drones. And, we'll see what happens. So he's trying to slow me down, and I'm webbing him, but I'm also disrupting him. And you can see I'm kind of cutting through his shields, although he's cutting through my shields quite effectively. But then he gets into my armor, and I have a 400mm plate, as well as Trimarks and some other stuff to basically toughen up my armor. And he suddenly realizes that his shields are going down faster than my armor. So I guess he starts to attack my drones or something, tries to figure out how to get out of there. But as soon as I get through his shields, he just melts in but a few cycles. And so I got my revenge. I suspect that a Daredevil will still cost a whole lot more than that destroyer. So I started to get cocky. I went back to the station and picked up some salvage drones and decided I would actually see how these worked. And they worked. But in the end, after trying to salvage for a while, this dude in a Cambion, which is a Tech 2 assault frigate, which was given away as a prize for the Alliance tournament, he suddenly comes in and he just does insane amounts of damage to me, and I can barely get anything done on him. It doesn't last very long. Normally, the Cambions probably cost about 30 billion ISK, I think. They are very expensive ships because there are only 50 of them in the game. Or at least there's probably less than that because they only gave out 50 blueprints as a prize for Alliance Tournament 10. So, people bought the blueprints and they bought 2 copies and they built one and they kept another as an original blueprint because that would increase the rarity. So here we are. This is the Talwar. This is the Minmatar Talwar. It is another missile ship. It also gets bonuses to speed, I believe. Micro-warp drive speed. In this case, I decided to fit it with long-range missiles and try to keep my range. So you can see the longer range light missile launchers on that. Rockets have a much shorter range in comparison, but they do more damage. So yeah, let's take a look at this Malcolm Jeeves dude. He's probably coming back for some payback, and I'll start hitting him with my missiles as I try to keep some range on him. Don't want to let him get too close. The Minmatar are all about speed, and you don't want to get held down. You want to be able to hit guys from a distance. And we'll switch off the UI. You can see there, this is the test server, so people, don't think twice about bringing a cluster of capital ships together and, self-repairing each other, whatever, ganging up on people. And in the end, this other guy joins my fight. He's in an arbitrator. The arbitrator has been rebalanced a little. It used to be a drone ship, or it is a drone ship still. It also does tracking disruption. Tracking disruption apparently will now affect missiles, but you can see that he's throwing a bunch of drones at me, and I decide to start targeting them and whatever. Not much I can do about it, but it'd be nice to see what happens here. And sure enough, a few volleys of missiles will cut through these drones. But, a few minutes later, I'm back. I've escaped the guy in the arbitrator, and Malcolm comes back. This time, he gets closer a lot more quickly, and I forget to turn on my micro-warp drive, apparently. And by the time I do, he is really breathing down my neck, and the acceleration of this thing is not sufficiently high, so he starts to come in really close, hits me with a warp scrambler. This warp scrambler turns off my micro warp drive, and so now he has all the advantage, and so he's now right on top of me with rockets, which means he's doing a lot more damage than I am. I'm doing damage to him, but also, he is just able to do much more because his weapons are designed, or they've sacrificed range for damage. Also, these guys in an Ishkur and in a Harpy are coming in, and they're no doubt getting ready to assist should I start to gain the upper hand. People take the test server too seriously, if you ask me. It should be a place to just test stuff out and mess around and try to catch bugs, really. But there are people apparently who keep kill boards on the test server, who think it's really awesome that they can kill some dude in a fancy expensive ship that costs 30 billion in the real game but only costs 100 ISK on the server. Yeah, you see the guy with the Ishkar is now tracking disrupting me, and I've lost that ship. So yeah, only 2 kills out of 4 destroyers. I'm not particularly good. Anyway, another new item that was added is the micro jump drive, and if I activate this, the idea is that it charges up, and you see the charge up effect happening, and at the end of the charge up effect, the whole thing fires. It only fits to battleship-sized vehicles, which aren't as fast, but it lets them jump 100 kilometers very quickly. And you see I'm 100 kilometers away from that Chimera. Also, right now on the test server, apparently these things are not complete. You can see I'm activating this inside a warp disruption sphere, and it works just fine. This may not translate to the final game, but it's something to be aware of. It could definitely add some tactical amazingness. Anyway, other spaceship is the Dasher. No, it is not a pony. It is an ore frigate that is designed for mining. How fascinating. It gets huge bonuses to mining and has a 5,000 cubic meter cargo bay. So, you can move around quickly and mine. It has extra resistance to warp scrambling. It has an extra 2 warp core strength, which is nice, I guess, if you're going to fly around in hostile space mining. I've no idea why, but never know. It does have a drone bay, so I'm expecting that somebody will get on with a kill mail with these on the first day. I'm not sure who, but you can expect them that will be paying a lot to get there. Also on the test server is a whole bunch of stuff from Dust 514. Now, I'm not sure how much of this can be shown. The test server was not covered by any NDA, but I'm only going to just flick through a few things. You've got, all the same modules and stuff. You have drop suits. You have the Quaff drop suit, which is a genius marketing ploy, apparently. We have these teleporters, which injure the people, but it doesn't matter because they're clones. You have buildings like nanohives and cortexes and all sorts of other random things. Repair tools. And finally, there's been a bunch of graphical changes. So this is the new Tempest, which of course you also have a new version of the Vargar. You can see they've kind of got a little, they've changed the look in some interesting ways. Not quite as obvious as the changes to the Megathron, or maybe it's obvious if you're a Megathron flyer, but they've redone the model for this, but they've also modified the Vindicator, which is one of my favorite ships because it does insane amounts of damage, and the Kronos, which doesn't do quite as much damage, but is a pretty darn tough and awesome ship nonetheless. Finally, they've also remodeled the Stabber and rebalanced the Stabber. All the cruisers have had some rebalancing done to them. So the Stabber isn't as frilly, whereas the Vagabond now has this crazy space camo scheme and extra gills on the front. Anyway, I'm Scott Manley. I hope you've enjoyed this tour of the test server. Expect them out on December 4th. Fly safe.